Welcome to the Conversation Lab. I'm Don Schaefer. If democracy begins in conversation, then we need to nurture a culture where ordinary people like us routinely talk about those things that help us understand each other, whether it's about climate, race, religion, gender, or politics. When we're trying to make sense of our city and the world we live in, every question comes with a set of assumptions about the nature of ourselves and our place in a larger world. The Conversation Lab provides a safe place to talk about some of those things. This program is produced by CFRO-FM in Vancouver. It's available on air and online on various platforms, and we appreciate the help of Vancouver's community groups. Welcome to another edition of the Conversation Lab. My name is Don Schaefer, and today we're speaking with Nicola Bartel, who's the Executive Director of Mercy Canada. What is Mercy Canada?
So we are an organization that is faith-based, that has a holistic approach to healing, that serves women from the ages of 13 to whatever age. So far, this last year, ages 13 to 66. For the previous 10 years, we were a residential care facility for adult women 19 to 30 that struggled with behavioral mental health issues. So eating disorder, self-harm, suicidal thought, addictions, depression, anxiety, really anything that was stopping them becoming their true self and living to their potential. So it was a holistic approach to care, where we worked with women in the areas of their mind, body, and spirit. So including a dietitian, a registered nurse, a fitness instructor, daily life skills, professional counseling, and just taking them on a journey in the spiritual sense to connect them with their creator, and so that they knew that they are born with a purpose that's unique to them, and so that they could start to dream and vision again for future.
Can you explain faith-based?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a Christian organization. So for us, we're coming from a Christian perspective, but no one is excluded. Everyone is welcome. And we're very clear from the beginning where we're coming from. And they basically go on a journey. We don't do any kind of a directive therapy or anything like that. We basically take them on a journey where they connect with God, see what their belief systems are, and they go on a journey. And it's really their own journey of self-discovery.
So you're not excluding people.
No, in fact, we've had several women over the years that have come from the Muslim faith, from Sikh faith, Aboriginal culture with their spiritual backgrounds as well. You know, you asked when you and I were on the phone last week about trans population group and how we serve. And I mentioned to you, we haven't really had a lot of trans people apply. But I think what's first and foremost, that's certainly not our area of expertise. So if someone were coming, we're looking for things to work with people where they're going to die if they don't get help, like eating disorders and self-harm. People think self-harm is about trying to kill themselves. They're not. They actually cut or burn or whatever because they're trying to desperately to live, because the endorphins that are released when someone cuts, that emotional pain that is so deep, they actually feel again. And so it starts with that, and it becomes like an addiction, and the wounds get and more frequent, and they can actually die eventually, but it's actually a cry. They want to live, desperately want to live. So we're trying to stop people from dying and trying to get people back on track with their life. So, we will certainly work with anyone, but we don't do coercion therapy. We don't get anyone to try and change who they are. If they're coming because they're coming for the areas that are our expertise, eating disorder, self-harm, anxiety, depression, suicidal thought, then anyone is more than welcome.
So just to be clear, you don't turn any woman away?
No.
In terms of the work you do, I would think under this current environment, especially the COVID environment and what it has done to women in particular, putting them in harm's way, I would think you're a little busy.
Oh, we have a growing wait list on, and we're actually looking to expand our counseling team. We're looking to hire 2 counselors that are a master's level, and to help those. We have about 24 on our wait list right now, and it's heartbreaking to hear the stories of isolation and those that were in the process before that were struggling. It's everyone. One of the initiatives for this last year in 2020 that we can do through our wellness program is we're offering parental support groups, and we're also offering anxiety groups for two groups, one for young women ages 13 to 24, and then one for women 24 and older. So they have been a huge success last year, and we have a wait list for those now as well.
I'm curious what got you into this line of work.
Well, in looking back, probably my own journey in end of grade 7, beginning of grade 8, I was pretty extensively bullied in a time when we still lived in a culture where sticks and stones will break your bones and names won't hurt you. And I probably went on my own journey of kind of being tough and figuring it out on my own, and realizing that that really had an impact on me, the bullying process, where this extroverted, outgoing little girl kind of shut down and lost her voice. And so somewhere along the way, through moving schools, moving neighborhoods, I got connected to somebody that lived across the street who was a pastor. And I didn't know he was a pastor. Actually, I babysat for him, and just watching his family and babysitting his girls, and then just developing a relationship with him, given my cultural history of Christianity in the UK. I had a general belief in a God, but no relationship with God. And so I went on my own journey, and then eventually started attending the church and working with youth, and loved working with youth, not really understanding why. I was in the business world in my 20s, still working with youth, and then found myself in a situation where I was mediating between parents and teenagers with very complicated issues. And so I took a paraprofessional counseling program for a 2-year period while working still, just to have a general active listening skills to try and mediate, help with the process. And at the time with my work, somebody that was a client actually shared that they, when they got to know me and realized the work that I was doing, that they had an opportunity. They were having some challenges with a group home for at-risk youth and pregnant teens. And so I kind of took a leap, which most people said was crazy to do. I had a nice lifestyle, was involved in a successful business, and yet I really felt called to make change, to be a part of the change, and to bring hope. And so I took a risk, and it was the best decision I ever made. Started working, running a group home it was just 5 beds, and it was a large church in central Burnaby, and was there for about 8.5 years. And yet it was a great program, very comprehensive. Most of the young women came from Willingdon Detention Center, and did really, really well in the program. And were afterwards, I would hear a year and a half later, they were back on the streets, involved in drugs, gangs, prostitution, and it just really broke my heart. And so I realized that change comes from healing of broken hearts, not just changing behavior. And long-term change requires a deep level of healing. And so fast forward, I heard who was our founder of Mercy Multiplied, which is our legal name. We go by Mercy Canada, just as doing business as. But I heard the founder of our organization speak at a women's conference. And she had a background in youth justice and psychology. She had multiple degrees, and I didn't know, but she started an organization in 1983 in the United States. And she started it based on working in the prison system and seeing women come through, teenagers, in doing all kinds of behavior modification programs, which are good. But they would tick the boxes and then be back out there, and same thing. They were, getting murdered and not really getting on track and just where they needed to go. And so I thought, wow, that is so amazing. And the principles that she founded it on just really resonated with me, that services would be completely free of charge, so that the young women that come to the program would know that they are unconditionally loved and valued, and that no one would benefit from their struggles. And the second one was that no funds would be taken, that restricted fully and entirely sharing our faith, which for us is Christ. And then the last one was that donations that come in that are not restricted, that those would be given back to nonprofit charities that have need. And so that resonated with me. And so I went on a journey and kind of did my research and then connected with her. And through a local church that held the conference and the connection to our founder, whose name is Nancy, we made a connection and went on a journey and became a charity in 2003, then started fundraising, and we bought some property in 2008, clear title, and started this 20-bed residential care home. And then at the end of 2016, Fraser Health, whom we had originally met with, decided that they'd actually made a mistake in looking at the program that we had. And because we worked with a dietitian, registered nurse, professional counseling, etc., that we needed to be regulated with them. So we became licensed under Fraser Health, and it was great. And they were amazing to work with. And I look forward to the day again when we work with Fraser Health. But the square footage in the home and the logistics of the property, they capped our numbers down from 20 to 12. And so the efficiencies went through the roof, and there wasn't an opportunity to do an expansion on the particular property. So we sold the property last year and launched our wellness program. So it's basically outpatient rather than inpatient. And we're looking for new property to build back to a residential home, but also have our wellness centers. So those that are not able to commit to, the full extent of living in a containment aspect where they're working on their challenges, women at university or individuals that are, working and just can't step out for that period of time can still get the help that they need.
Sounds like you've been busy.
Yes. Yes. It's been an amazing journey. There's nothing like walking beside someone and seeing hope restored in someone's eyes and life, and for them to start to vision, to recognize their talents and their dreams, and to be supported in that, and to set goals for their future, and to see women getting off of income assistance and providing for themselves and becoming who they were intended to be with the gifts and talents that they have.
We're speaking with Nicola Bartel, who's the Executive Director of Mercy Canada. So what keeps you up at night?
I suppose raising funds. We're privately funded, and I know the need is great. It breaks my heart, the stories. We've helped to date over 200 women, and in the last year, 53 of those are just from last year. So we've almost tripled our capacity. So now we're building back our infrastructure so that we can help more women. We've helped women all across Canada, from Newfoundland and every province in between. And services are not available for everyone, and specifically in the area of eating disorders. One of the women that came to us in 2011, who's doing really well today, lives in Ontario, and she said the reason she came was because we were free of charge. She wasn't really interested in the faith aspect, but she was struggling in a serious way with anorexia. And anorexia, if left untreated over a 10-year period, it's highest rate of mortality. And it just breaks my heart. But anyway, in Ontario, the cost of services for her ran anywhere from $650 to $1,000 a day. And she couldn't afford that. And so she came and she got the services that she needed for free, and her family was restored in the process. So for me, that's the reward and that's the need. And so there's a tension and a reward that coexists on an ongoing basis.
I think I have two questions. I'm going to roll them into one. And I guess, why is being a faith-based organization important to you? And I was quite surprised with the comment about you won't take restrictive funding, and I'm curious, why would somebody offer restrictive funding or have conditions apply